Well, good morning, everyone. What a beautiful day.
It is. And this is, you might see that we're not sitting in a car, so this is History Files.
Yay!
And Mary is here, and I have to dispel, I got to talk about the rumor that you had got in a fight with Jim Losinski and were replaced. You know, that's the rumor, and I have to tell you folks, it's all true. It was a terrible fight.
True. It is not true.
There was grass being thrown.
Was not grass being thrown.
There were people pinching.
Police were not called. No, we are just so very, very lucky that we've had Jim join the History Files family. Because
the crew.
Because unlike myself, Jim is retired.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he has a little more flexibility. Plus, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Nancy, he is a walking historical encyclopedia.
Yes, he should be in the National Archive.
Yes, we should have Jim in a cage at the Smithsonian Institute so we do not forget our history.
Yes.
Because history is very important.
And we're a group here, and it's fine. And Mary is here today. And like I said, today is the last day of August.
Yes, it is.
And we're going to talk about what it used to be like on the farm in the fall. And I'm going to set my timer because we are high-tech here, aren't we?
We are out at the remote studio.
Very remote.
On Square Bluff. Our camera crew has left us. Our hair and makeup is gone.
Yeah, they won't touch us anymore.
It's a holiday weekend. Nobody wants to be part of this.
The dog doesn't even want to be part of it.
No, she blew us off this morning. No ride, no nothing.
No, she didn't want nothing to do with us, so...
We're going into a different cooking season, aren't we?
Yes, and we're just thinking today about our memories of what it was like, what people were doing on the farm in the fall.
Absolutely.
And I guess what I remember when I was really little, and that would have been, in the mid-50s, a long time ago, was butchering, was what seemed to take place.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my grandfather would... take the rifle out and dispatch a steer, and I wasn't allowed to see
that part?
No,
yeah.
But I could hear it. And then they would haul it up between the corn crib and the machine shed, and skin it and go to work on it.
Yeah, you got to get her bucked up.
Yep, I remember that. And I remember I didn't like the smell, it's that...
The blood smell.
Yeah. And, but they did not make the blood pudding or anything like other people around here.
Okay.
Do you remember that at all?
Well, I remember bits and pieces of the process, mostly being the little person on the tape line, because certain cuts, then they'd wrap them in white paper, and I got to peel tape. Peel off somebody had to do it.
Well, everybody had a job.
Everybody had a job. Yes.
You bet. It was important. And my grandparents by that time had electricity and had a freezer. But how did they preserve pork or beef before?
Well, did they do canning? Did they can their beef?
Some people did, or they smoked it. The other thing that they butchered in great quantity in the fall were chickens.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I used to help the neighbors butcher chickens and ducks. Boy, was that a job.
And for a few years we did grow ducks, and I tried every single methodology from every person I talked to on how to make it easy to get rid of the feathers on a duck.
And I don't think I never could figure that out either.
I was told you wrap them up in a wet burlap bag and you put them on a fire and that'll release them. Or it's
oh my gosh,
how you do the process with the tongue and a hook, and none of it ever worked. And I found the easiest way to get the feathers off a duck was to skin them.
I resorted to that because the first time I butchered ducks, I could butcher all kinds of chickens in a day.
Oh yeah.
But one duck One duck took me all day, and it was such a mess. Oh, I could not get the feathers off.
Were you using a plier?
Practically, and of course my neighbors, a lot of them were older Polish ladies that raised a lot of ducks. And what was their method? Well, some of them said you had to be able to get the feathers at just a certain point, that
Oh.
if you went out and caught the duck and pulled the feather out and it had some kind of, you looked at the end of the feather, and if it had some kind of,
Like
I don't know,
ring or
yeah,
marker or
it
something?
had something on it, like, I don't even know what it was, some kind of, anyway, that's when you were supposed to do the ducks.
Okay.
And but I helped them butcher ducks, and it took a whole crew of people to get rid of the feathers on a duck.
Well, and you know, I remember every Christmas, my grandmother liked to have a duck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they taste great.
Absolutely.
It's all dark meat, yeah.
Little bit oily, but it was a good meat.
Yes.
And I got a bee that's liking me right now, which is fine. But duck is good.
Yeah.
But a home-raised duck is very hard to manipulate.
It is. It's tough. And
Geese are the same way.
are they? Oh.
And so are turkeys. You have to get turkeys right. One year we raised white turkeys.
Uh-huh.
And of course we saved a tom for Thanksgiving. And my mother was alive at the time, and she called me at noon. She was working that day, and she said, "Oh, I bet the house is starting to smell like turkey." Well, I was still out in the woodshed with the pliers trying to get the feathers off that turkey. Oh, it was a mess. It was a mess.
Yeah. Well, there was definitely an art to it.
Absolutely.
Let's face it. But there were other things going on the farm besides butchering.
Oh, absolutely. There were crops to bring in,
Right.
final preparations to be made before the first frost.
Yeah.
Cleaning out the garden.
Yeah, because it used to come around, they used to say by the middle of September.
Absolutely.
And now that it's gotten
A
later.
little bit later.
Yeah.
And the one thing I do remember growing up and doing things on the farm is you kept everything.
Right.
You kept as much of the meat and the organs and everything that, you know, you kept the tongue, the liver, the heart, and those weren't necessarily favorite things, but nothing got thrown away.
No, nothing was wasted, was
Right.
it? Yes. And I remember too, the corn picking.
Oh, yeah.
Before they had the combines, they had those that fit on the tractor. I'm not even sure which. Well, they were corn pickers, right?
Yes.
But they only did a couple rows at a time.
Yep.
And the tractors didn't usually have cabs on them.
No.
You were out there in the weather, no matter what.
That's
and the
right.
dust. Oh my goodness.
And you had to get the corn off
yeah.
at a certain stage, especially before the snow
Yeah.
flew.
Right. Yes. You had to get it dry.
Yes.
And a lot of people didn't have the bins that were with the dryers.
No.
Yeah.
No, they had the corn cribs, and they had to wait to a certain stage of moisture.
Right. It was tricky.
It was an art.
Yes, it was. And I don't remember people picking corn by hand around here, except, well, I should say, my grandparents had one field that was so steep they had to pick it by hand. It wasn't a very big one, at least. But my mother-in-law grew up in southeastern Nebraska.
Okay.
And when they grew corn out there, and this would have been like in the late 20s and the 30s, the family picked the corn and by hand.
Oh, that would be a lot of work.
Yep, she said they got out in the morning while it was still dark, and they had a horse and a wagon, and the horse knew the rate of speed to pull that wagon
Wow.
down the field, and the girls and the boys would be out there, and they'd pull the the ear of corn off, and they'd throw it against some kind of a board that would it was on the wagon, and it would bounce it into the wagon bed. And
to kind of catch the corn as it was getting tossed in.
And she said they would be out all day until it got too dark to see, day after day. So
I bet you
that-
they were glad when mechanized corn harvest happened.
Oh, that had to be fun. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. No, the only hand picking I've done of corn has been in the sweet corn patches.
Right, yeah.
And that was normal operating
Yeah.
protocol.
Yeah, and I think if like Larry's great-grandfather could see some of these combines now with like 16 to 20 heads on them, oh my gosh.
Absolutely. They're big. Definitely wouldn't want to take a rig that size on some of Trempealeau County's slopes.
No. And Mary, I've got here my favorite old cookbook that I believe belonged to my great-grandmother, because there's a listing of her kids in here.
Okay.
So I have to assume that this was maybe hers. And her name was Jeanette Oliver Hunter. And then she's got all the kids when they were born, all about a year apart.
Oh, busy lady.
Very busy lady, holy cow.
And how many children did she have?
Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8, so that was a good sized brood.
Normal size family. Yeah.
For the day.
Yeah, that was normal. And when they first got married, they lived way out in western Nebraska near the Colorado border. And it was very arid out there, not a good place to try to farm. But
were they settlers then? They had moved
they were
west?
homesteaders. They tried the homestead. And
Okay.
they eventually came back to Wisconsin. But I'm sure it wasn't easy. And this cookbook, it's more than a cookbook. I mean, it's got all kinds of things in here, veterinary care for animals and humans. And but it has got a really good recipe for head cheese.
Oh, head cheese. I don't know.
Everybody loves.
Do you care? Do you like head cheese?
No, I don't. Well, I've never had it.
Well, you've never had it, then how do you know?
I know it's probably wonderful, right?
All it is like pork parts in jelly, isn't it?
Well, this is what they tell you to do.
Okay.
They want a thoroughly cleaned hog head.
Okay.
And you split it in two with a sharp knife.
Boy, aren't their skulls really thick?
Well,
Okay, a sharp knife.
yep.
Right?
Then you've got to take out the eyes,
Okay.
take out the brains, cut off the ears,
Okay.
and pour scalding water over them, and then scrape them clean. Scrape it clean.
The head.
Yes.
After you take out parts of it.
Right. Yeah.
What do you do with the parts you take out?
Well, I'm not sure, but maybe
That's
it
the
tells you what to
question
do.
to ask.
Yep. And you've got to cut off any part of the nose which might not be discolored. You know, that maybe the hog had been rooting around with its nose.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Stained or dirty.
Right, so you want that to look good. And then you rinse everything in cold water and put it into a large kettle with hot but not boiling water to cover it.
Oh.
And set the kettle over the fire and let it boil gently, taking off any scum as it rises.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you take it from the water with a skimmer and you put it in a large wooden bowl or tray and take every particle off the bone. I mean, you totally clean that head. Any kind of, you know, because there wouldn't be a lot of meat on a head.
Oh,
right?
I'm sure there is, Nancy. Think of the muscle structures.
Yeah, it's
I
not
mean,
like
unless they took the jowls off separate, because some people like to eat,
pig jowl.
yeah,
I suppose.
pork jowls.
Yeah, why
you know?
not?
I mean, it's requested.
But you've got to get every particle off the bone. And then you
Okay.
chop the meat small into little pieces.
Okay.
And season with salt and pepper. And you can put a little chopped thyme or sage in it if you like.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, to go that far back and use thyme and sage,
Yeah.
right?
Well, they probably had it in their garden.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. And then you've got to, let's see, after you season it, and you spread a cloth into a colander,
Okay.
and you put the meat in it, and then fold the cloth closely over it, and then you put a weight on it to press it equally, like the whole surface, like they're saying a large plate.
Okay.
So you want it to, they're pressing it and, you know, spreading it out on this cloth and pressing it. And when it's cold, you take the weight off of it and take it from the colander and keep what they're calling it the cheese
Okay.
in the cloth in a cool place. And you can eat it sliced thin, with or without mustard or vinegar or catsup. And the water, if the water is cold in which the head was boiled, take the fat off, and I imagine the fat would have came up, so you're not throwing that away. And whatever may have drained in from the colander and cloth, put it together in some clean water and boil it again and strain it again through a cloth.
Wow.
And set it somewhere to be cold and take off any fat, and then it's fit for use. So they're not talking about making it jellied.
No.
No.
To me, it just sounds like meat cake.
Yeah, more or less.
I mean, if they fold it, and I would assume the plate is to get any residual excess moisture.
And they are compressing it, so maybe there was a little gel in it somewhere, but they don't say anything about it.
Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So how many of you out there are going to
Have made head cheese.
have you made it? How did you make it? What was your spice palette?
Yeah,
Salt, pepper, and a little bit of stuff out of the garden. That's incredible.
it's a lot of work.
Well, it sounds like it.
Yeah, that's when you had the hired girl to help you.
Oh, yeah, the hired girls.
Yeah.
They were...
Especially when you got 8 kids and one of them is probably a baby. You know?
Absolutely.
My gosh, you had to have help.
2 of them, 1 on each leg.
Right, yeah.
Hanging on.
Now, have you ever had scalloped tomatoes?
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Not potatoes.
Scalloped tomatoes. I remember the reason I didn't like them, but
Potatoes.
it's just like you're fixing scalloped potatoes where you were layering them with some flour and bread crust,
Okay.
and you layered them up, the tomatoes, and you baked them just like you would. And I think you put some milk over it too. So
What else goes in that?
salt and pepper, put in a cool place, and a layer of breadcrumbs, and then one of tomatoes, and you kept layering the crumbs and the tomatoes and everything till it got high enough, and then you baked until it was bubbling hot and brown.
And so, kind of, really, it's like a tomato casserole.
Right, yeah, it's a scalloped tomato.
See, I think that's a recipe that I could try.
Well, it'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Well, I wouldn't have to go out and try to find a pig head for me to scald.
There's not a whole lot of pig heads around these days.
I mean, I think that would be a pre-order thing, right?
Yeah, probably.
Keep the head. Okay, interesting.
And they have a chapter here, an invalid cookery. So
Okay.
I think they're assuming that maybe you've got Grandpa in the back bedroom, and you know he needs a lot of care, and you know.
And what would we by chance feed? Well, you know, I mean, farming with horses, people got hurt.
Yes.
And we're talking turn of the century cookbook here.
Right. They had a lot of jellies. They talk about tapioca jelly and jellied chicken.
Jellied chicken. Okay.
And then gruel, making gruel.
And gruel is that like a grain-based porridge kind of thing?
They're talking about mixing groats with cold water in a basin and then, you know, boiling them and stirring it all the time.
Now, did you say goats or groats?
Groats. That would be like buckwheat groats, I would imagine.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense, because I was going to say goats. That
No, it says groats.
kind of make me scratch my head there a little bit.
Or then it talks about also barley water was supposed to be very healthy for someone that was indisposed. And that was well-washed pearl barley and boiled, covered, and let it sit until cold, and then drain it off and do the whole thing over again. And that was barley water.
Do you like barley?
It's okay.
I mean, because typically don't they put barley like in beef stew?
Yes. Yeah, they do.
That's something?
Yep. And a lot of the old-time Scottish recipes had barley in them. It must be something that can tolerate bad weather like rain and cold weather.
Like rain and cold weather all summer long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now this one also made me stop and look at it. It's for stewed rabbits in milk.
Okay. Stewed rabbits in milk.
Yep.
So does that mean, I mean, I've had rabbit. Have you had rabbit?
I have.
Yes. And my mom would make a creamed rabbit.
Well, this is probably the same thing. It's talking about...
It's not like a rabbit who's got babies and is
No.
lactating.
Oh God, no, that sounds
Okay,
terrible.
yeah.
This said that you've got to have 2 young rabbits that are like half grown,
Okay.
and then you've got to have a couple pints of milk, and some mace, and a little flour and salt, and you mix the flour, and you're making a gravy.
Yeah.
A thickened gravy, and you cut the rabbit up and put it into a stew pan with the milk and other ingredients, and you simmer them. You just keep boiling them until they get really tender. So
That sounds like creamer rabbit to me.
yeah, but only they're called stewed rabbit in milk. And then this one was different, egg wine. Have you ever heard of that?
No. Egg
Neither.
wine.
Egg wine.
What would go into egg wine?
1 egg, and then 1/2 glass of cold water, and a glass of sherry, and some sugar and nutmeg, and you beat it up with a tablespoon of the cold water and make the wine and water hot, and pour it over the eggs, stirring all the time. So,
Wow.
but this is, like I say, this was for the invalid.
Oh, okay.
So it was supposed to be easy on your stomach, apparently.
Well,
Yeah.
and I'm sure the sherry maybe helped people take a little snooze.
Yeah.
And the eggs are protein.
Sure, it was probably very good for you.
Yeah. Wow, we may have to try out some of these recipes.
And then it also had all kinds of cures and things for people. I mean, and this is a good one, leanness, a cure for leanness, which is not something we normally have a problem with these years.
These days, I think we have the opposite.
Right.
If they're thinking lean as in skinny people.
Right,
Right?
yes. And yeah, I don't see anything in here for people that are overweight, but there's a cure for leanness. So
No portly,
what does that tell you?
No portly people recipes.
no.
A little red flag.
But they say that leanness is caused by a lack of power in the digestive organs
Oh.
to digest and assimilate your food. And so what you have to do to restore your digestion, they say, is you got to have plenty of sleep and drink all the water the stomach will bear in the morning on rising.
Okay.
And then you have wheat and graham mush, baked sweet apples, roasted and broiled beef, cultivated jellies, and bathed daily.
Oh, so getting adequate rest and taking a bath every day
Yeah,
is something important
yeah,
if you want to put on some weight.
right. If you don't want to be too lean.
If you're fighting leanness out there,
And that-
call Nancy. She's got the cure.
And it was a problem because, believe it or not, in World War I, when I saw some of these cards where they inducted guys, some of them didn't make it into the service because they didn't have enough weight.
Yeah, they weren't heavy enough.
That was a problem back
Yeah.
then. It was an actual problem.
Well, they worked and worked and worked and worked.
Yeah, and what they ate was not stuff that was overly processed.
No.
No. So that was, a different way of living anyway.
And so maybe that's kind of a clue for the rest of us is to cook your own meals with stuff that's not overly processed.
Right. And this one is for Mary because, as you know, our dear friend Mary has a problem with her habitosis. Her feet, that every once in a while, it's just it's a flare-up, right?
Nancy is an awful person.
Her feet get large and
Can
hairy.
I have a fun disease? Can I have like too thick hair grosses where all the hair on my head is so thick I can't get a comb
And
through it?
No, I don't see anything there.
No.
But they do have one for relief for the inflamed feet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everybody gets sore feet once in a while.
I guess so.
Sometimes I think if I need new shoes,
But
because
that's what it says. It
I
says
wear
the
my
first
shoes.
thing to be done is to take off and throw away tight-fitting boots.
see? There we go. Now I understand why my feet occasionally give me normal feet grief, just like you all have.
And then it says, but you got to take a pint of wheat bran and
Wheat bran.
an ounce of salaerains, and I think that's like Epsom salts.
Okay.
I think, you know, it's a salty thing.
Okay.
And put it in a foot bath with 1 gallon of hot water. Not boiling, but hot.
Okay.
Okay.
A foot
And-
bath, I can dig that.
When it's become cool enough to put the feet in, then you got to soak them. And it said the relief will be almost immediate, and you repeat this every night for a week, and the cure will be complete.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
But
I mean, they, like, in today's world, they actually do make, like, at-home foot baths.
yes.
You know,
Yeah,
that you can
you're right.
plug into the wall.
Yeah, and they water
and it
circulates.
it makes all these wonderful noises. And, you know, have you worked a job where you've been on your feet all
Oh
the
yeah,
time?
I can remember having sore feet. You bet.
Absolutely. And, you know, the thing with shoes,
Well, we still have a few minutes. so
now
okay.
we can't finish the story about the shoes because our buzzer went off.
Well, I always said we got a couple minutes here to wind things up.
Well, this is anticipation
Yeah.
for the next show.
And the thing that we want to say, the thing that really made that foot thing work was you get rid of those bad shoes. Right?
Absolutely. Bad shoes.
Yeah.
Do you outwear your shoes?
Well, they start to get holes in them, and after a while, it's time for some new ones.
She outwears her shoes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll wear them for my day job work, and then for my day job work, I'll wear them on the farm for another year
Sure.
or 2.
You waste nothing.
You waste nothing.
Waste nothing.
Not until the soles start falling off.
And the last thing from this book that they recommend is for girls, learn to cook.
There you go, ladies.
This is important. You got to learn how to cook. What right has a girl to marry and go into a house of her own unless she knows how to superintend every branch of housekeeping, and she cannot properly superintend unless she has practical knowledge herself.
And this is a direct quote out of the Everyday Cookbook.
Yeah, yeah.
Girls, learn to cook.
Yeah, and clean.
And
so even if you don't do it yourself, you can supervise people. Supervise that hired girl.
There we go. Got to keep an eye on those gals.
Yes, they did. But that was so common back then to have a hired girl.
Oh, absolutely.
And you almost needed to have it if you had all that work to do on the farm and you had all those kids. Oh my gosh.
Or one of your siblings,
Sure.
female siblings,
Right,
stayed with
right.
you, or, you know, the times were different. And, you know, we've kind of lost some of those connections.
Right. But the hired girl would learn how to do this stuff too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was a good idea. Maybe we should go back to having hired girls.
Yes. Anybody want to work? I've always got something to do. So does Nancy.
Yeah, maybe.
We could do an experiment. Yeah. We could have apprentices.
Yes.
For
that's what we
domestic
call
goddess work.
domestic apprentices. Yeah.
Domestic apprentices.
Yeah,
I
that's a
like
good
that.
idea. Well, Mary, I think we've got to, you know, wrap it up here. So I want you to go home and enjoy the day and take care of your feet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will be putting on a different pair of shoes when I get home. And maybe I'll go out and buy myself one of them foot bath machines.
Yeah, and while you're out there, see if you can get a nice hog head.
I'll put in an order.
Yeah.
Do you think they have that on eBay?
I don't know. We'll have to see if you can get head cheese. They have head cheese down at Bushy's and Independence.
And it's really good.
And it goes fast.
Yeah.
People like it. Yeah. So I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying how they told you to do it here.
It's a different recipe,
Yeah.
but you never know. Maybe they'll try this recipe out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank you so much for joining us on the History File.
And we can function without Jim Lisinski.
That's right. We love you, Jim. So glad he's part of our team.
Yes.
Absolutely.